Steve Kephart. Welcome to my show here. Coming to you from the greater Cedar Rapids, Iowa area, kind of the northeast, north central part of the eastern part of Iowa here. Uh, Pretty good area, I do believe. I've pretty much raised here, so my whole life, and I enjoy this area. We have great people, but we do have flaws and whatnot. But um, the a lot of weird things that I kind of want to talk about. You got RFK Jr. going up against the panel of senators that it's really funny how the Kennedy family is so weird that they really have gone against him ever since he announced that he was going to run for president. They pretty much have denounced him. His cousin, Carolyn, JFK's daughter. God, those two are going at each other. I mean, so he's not going after her. She's really, really throwing him underneath the bus. And that's like, wow, you guys have both been through some very tragic things. And it's just weird. I know they all think he's kooky and wacky for what he believes happened to his dad and to his uncle, JFK. But, you know, everything's been pointing to this, and now the truth's really coming out here once Trump signed this executive order to release all the JFK files. I'm hoping that they are also 100% redacted. I mean, I've gone through the Frank Sinatra files, even the J. Edgar Hoover files that the FBI has released, and they say they got 1,300 pages on Frank Sinatra, but it boils it all down. You get maybe 100 pages worth of reading because it's got all these black lines on everything. So really, this stuff, a lot of the transparency with the government is horse crap. It really is. But and that's what really scares them a lot about Bobby is. Yeah, he's the crazy conspiracy theorist that's actually been right on a lot of things, especially when it comes to our health, when it comes to our well-being and whatnot. Now, I do disagree with him on the whole oil thing and guns and whatnot, but he's in a lot better shape than what was in there with. That freaking transsexual, whatever the heck secretary. That was just, thank God we got rid of her. Hopefully, right now, I guess the betting market is like 80% favored to actually get through this nomination. But just I listened to a few of the senators ask questions. Grassley was good. I commend Grassley. He really didn't want to go back and forth with him on anything. They'd had previous discussions and just wanted to affirm that what they had discussed is what he still believes now. And okay, yeah, that was great. But right off the bat, getting grilled by even Democrats, who the Kennedy family was Democrats. It's just really funny to see how bad they've turned on them, especially Bobby here. But the first line of questioning I caught, and it was the first question because I caught the end of his opening statement, which was very powerful, very, very thoughtful. This guy wants to make us healthy, and we have chronic diseases that can only be deemed one way, and that's the food that we are eating. It could be two ways, and these toxic vaccines. Now he says he's not anti-vax. I personally, I don't trust the vaccines. I don't trust what's in them. New York Times just had an article came out said aluminum's good. It helps with something or other. It's like, no, it doesn't. It is a toxic metal. They are correlated. Heavy metal, aluminum being stored in your body, in your brain, to Alzheimer's. Uh, Aluminum's, it's a little bit safer than the mercury, but the next thing you know, we're going to see them do an about face and say that mercury is actually good for us. Uh, it's stupid. We cannot funnel out a lot of these heavy metals out of our bodies. We don't flush them out. So some of them get stored and stuff like that. I remember a House episode. I loved watching Dr. House. It was a great, great show. But this lady was killing her husband by poisoning him with gold. Really funny. A little bit of gold we actually could use in our cell in the cellular structures, but too much could kill us. It's the same way with a lot of these heavy metals. I've worked in battery factories where we had to monitor how much lead we had in our system. It's no different from a lot of different jobs that you got to be careful what you're actually ingesting. I've welded. I've done a lot of welding. I've welded zinc before, which is galvanized, and that's got a lot of toxic fumes, and I've been really sick off of it, and it's not good. It's not healthy. But anyway, this line of questioning that first started off with Bobby there was more or less what it boils down to is you can tell now which senators are they should have the NASCAR emblems on them, all the sponsorships and stuff like that, so we know who's actually swaying their vote. But you could definitely tell that they all have a Pfizer Moderna patch on this NASCAR uniform at home that they're not going to wear out. But just the line of thinking and attack for things that Bobby has said, which are very accurate. He said it before the fact. And again, we're going back to this science deniers. Anthony Fauci, I am the science. The science is settled. And any logical scientist, researcher will always tell you that science is never settled. That is the whole goal of science, is to create a hypothesis and then try to prove or disprove that hypothesis. If you keep disproving it, you try to find ways to figure out where you went wrong to make it right. But even when you're right on it, are you right on it? Could something be misconstrued with your algebraic formulas you had before? So science is never settled. And there's a lot of science that I don't think in our lifetime we are going to unlock that knowledge base that is actually, at this point in time, I physically believe, mentally, in my heart, believe that it is actually stored inside of us, that we can unlock a lot of what people would call supernatural abilities. But right now, our minds are so primitive. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons we have war. Greed gets the best of us, and the right wanting to play God over others. That's what is our downfall. That's why we're still a barbaric type brain. But there's ways. We'll figure that out. That's won't be in my lifetime. But anyway, RFK did a great job. Bobby, he handled himself well. They wouldn't really let him to answer the questions. Again, this is just a freaking formality. I really wish that they would just abolish this whole process. It's stupid. Especially when it comes to a Republican president putting his cabinet in. We fight every single time. They fought with Bush. They fought with Trump. First time they fought with him again. When we look how Biden got his stuff pushed right on through, you had 20 senators from the Republican side jumping over to vote these people in, but yet they will have a big problem of what Trump wants to put in there. For obvious reasons at this point in time, it hurts the lobbying business. Big Pharma with RFK, plain and simple. Junior is after Big Pharma, and we all are. We're one of two countries that actually have advertisement for our pharmaceuticals. The other one's New Zealand. If we got rid of that, we would see a lot of our chronic diseases going away. For one, but maybe we put money into research. Pete Hegseth, great military guy. They didn't want him in there. Why? Well, he's not bought and paid for by Raytheon or Halliburton. He has no ties to them. That hurts. These senators and stuff all have ties to them. Even like that was the big deal with Joni Ernst. Joni Ernst is looking for a bigger payout. When she's done being a senator, she is going to be at like Boeing, maybe even here in town in Rockwell, which is owned by Raytheon. She's going into military contracting, plain and simple. And that's Pete is a big threat to that, because if we're not creating conflict, especially from the CIA aspect, we're not creating conflict in other nations. We don't have war. Not having war doesn't make you money. You know, it's the military industrial complex. The thing that was warned to us by Eisenhower, as his closing statements of being president before JFK took over, he warned about the military industrial complex. But then when you actually do the research, great book, Raven Rock, it's a mountain out there, the East Coast, for it's an underground bunker. But what the ironic part about Ike saying, warning us about that, he was one of the founders of the military-industrial complex. It was just kind of a sense of irony that that he's calling out this program. Hey, we got to be aware of this program that you're not going to find out about this for another 25, 30 years. I'm going to be long dead, that I helped start, along with Harry Truman. Truman was helped start a lot of these projects, and it was continued on with Eisenhower. I mean, war's good. We get to go around and please. We didn't have nearly the amount of wars we do now. We needed to be involved in every single country and every little aspect of their lives, and it's ridiculous. There's no reason for it, but it's a fight. Hopefully, I mean, I see him getting the votes. It's just formalities going through this. I really wish we would just get rid of it. What else? So, yeah, the immigrant, it's fun watch these lefties' heads explode with all these the deportations that are going on. Colombia fell. Colombia did an about face within like 24 hours of not taking their people back. When we decided that we would just cut you off from the whole world, and then he goes on some weird rant, but he's a socialist weirdo. But they're going back. This is great. Tom Homan came out today and said that, hey, we need to up our numbers. Our numbers are still small. And people are freaking out. Let them freak out. Kind of gets into what our great new press secretary. It's great to see somebody that can actually answer questions, that doesn't have to go through the binder and then argue with the reporter about what you've seen wasn't what you see. It's great to see people be able to answer questions without having to look at notes. That's what's great about Trump, and great about his press secretaries that he's had. Even Sean Spicer was great. Forgot her name. Arkansas Huckabee, she was great. McEnany. Now this lady Levitt, she did great. It was really great when they asked her about the whole thing about, well, you're just deporting the criminals. How do we know they're criminals? Well, they're all criminals. They're in the United States illegally. They've broken the law to start off with. So every single one of them is a criminal. Plain and simple. Um, I seen something about some lady, weird little thing that they wrote out. I'm pretty sure it was off of Reddit, but it was talking about that she had come over here years ago, and her and her grandmother, they both became citizens, and now they're worried about that her and her husband might get deported back to China. Her grandma might get deported back with nothing but the skin clothes on her back and stuff. It's like, wait, we're not getting rid of, again, the left is misconstruing all the everything to gaslight people. It's not immigrants that we're sending back to their home country. It's illegal immigrants. If you are a citizen of the United States, you are not going to go anywhere. Uh, it's pretty hard to lose your citizenship once you have a citizenship of this country. Very few have lost that. There's been people that have denounced their citizenship, become citizens of another country for some odd dang reason. I don't understand why, because we've got the best country in the world. But anyway, everybody's losing their mind about all these deportations. Selena Gomez makes a fool out of her billionaire little spoiled brat self. But yeah, all you can say is, okay, so you really support these people. You support rapists, murderers, pedophiles, you name it. They're criminals. Even we'll take away that the fact that they just came over the border, but we know that Venezuela and Colombia and a lot of these countries down in southern Central America and South America emptied their prisons out and their mental asylums. Trump was not lying about that. That's why they're up here. We had the numbers. It's like 26,000 murderers that was released into the United States. Why are they up here? Well, they let them out of their prisons. So it's great to see some action being done a little over a week into his presidency. There's so much stuff going on, so many moving parts. The deportations are coming along. They're going to start getting more and more and more. There's going to be a bunch that's even self-deport. They want to talk about Bill, or okay, they bitch moan about Trump the deportations. But if you go back, Obama had a nickname when he was president, and that was called the Deporter in Chief, and he deported more people than Trump did in his first term. So, but if you actually go back to Bill Clinton, an estimated 10 million were deported out of the United States. Most of them actually self-deported. When you ramped up the security and actually enforced the laws that you have in place, most of this problem is going to leave. Like in Bill Clinton's case, where a majority of them just migrated south, got out of there. So went back to their home country. And we're going to see that. But the biggest thing is, yes, there's a ton of criminals out there that's the priority. We got to get these people that were in prison down there or wherever they're from to go back to their country and back to that prison. There's no reason they should be walking around in our great country exploiting our resources, and you should be locked up. But again, the press secretary, she did a great job. She handled herself very well. So a while ago, Donald Trump Jr. brought it up, and I'm a big Alex Jones fan. I've stood by him for many, many years. We're going on 20 years or so that I've been following what Alex has been saying, and he's right a lot of times. But it really caught some traction with Donald Jr. Don Jr. He's a great guy. He brought up the fact, they want to bring in and Carolyn Levitt, the press secretary now, brought it up too, but she's like, yeah, we're going to get more people in here, podcasters, other alternative media, rather than the mainstream media, because they just want to ask stupid questions, the same question, reworded and reworded again, and they're never happy with the answer, which is in 1,000% more detail than what we had with Q-Tip the last few years. And Redhead before that, which they were both in incompetent at their job. They couldn't memorize anything. Everything was in a binder, and they're terrible speakers. But that's great. We might see like a Joe Rogan as press secretary, in there in the press pool to be able to ask questions. But a few things have come out about Alex Jones going there by actually being the press secretary himself for a few weeks. But take questions from the media, shut the media down because the media hates you. We should know this by now. I mean, CNN's ratings have fallen through the floor. Jim Acosta is gone, thankfully. Bye, Jim. Good luck with your Substack. You'll get your 5 followers. But it still gets thrown around there. Imagine if Alex Jones gets a White House press pass. And actually, Jones came out today. Actually, no, that was yesterday, last night. Said that he was invited to go to D.C. So what's going on with that? I think that'd be hilarious to see Alex be able to sit there and ask the Trump's press secretary questions. That would, I can't imagine the meltdown that Rachel Maddow is going to have with that, and Joyless Reed, and The View would have a blast with that. That'd be awesome. That would be great to see. I hope it happens. I would like to see somebody like Alex Jones get a press pass. I would like to see, even Tim Pool, Joe Rogan, people that actually matter. People aren't listening to CNN. I mean, Joe Rogan gets more views in one of his podcasts than CNN gets pretty much all week long anymore. So, and I just look what's coming off of just YouTube, the amount of views. I mean, everybody listens to him on Spotify and whatnot. So he's reaching a lot of people. Why can't they be in there? Why has it got to be, PBS, NBC, ABC, NBC, Fox? These people always have to be there. CNN has to be there. And then this international pool gets rotated in and out. And you know what? No, I think you gave us the internet, and we're actually going to use this tool. And we've got our smartphones. We're going to use those. We have the rights. That's our First Amendment rights. We are the press. We the people are the press. The Supreme Court knows that. It is the First Amendment right to be able to ask questions. And you gave us all this information out there that we can actually know the truth. We can know when you're gaslighting us on CNN. Jim Acosta talking about how great of a reporter he was and always was honest. It's like, no, you're not honest. You don't have an honest bone in your body. It shows. So anyway, I think it'd be great to have Jones there. It'd be awesome. I really do. Maybe put Steven Crowder in the hell. Invite a couple of comedians in. That'd be great. They got to realize that the generation that wants this normalcy in the press corps and stuff, that they're a dying breed. That's Gen X we're next up. We're starting to, some of us are getting up to retirement age. Well, I'm a few years, I'm about 20 years off, but we're getting up there. We're in our upper 40s to almost 60s. So, we're getting up there. This is our generation. Yeah, you gave us our phones and stuff like that. Majority of us are, that's where we're going to get our information is from, other places that aren't the mainstream media. You gave us options and we ran with it. It's no different than a lot of different things, when the British called us a bunch of Yankees. And, well, okay, we went with that. Before that, the world called the Brits limeys. Okay, we'll go with that. It's just our culture. So, but all I can say is Trump's had a great first week, the first 100 hours, the website, go to whitehouse.gov. Great website, great comebacks on it. He actually has fact sheets where he is checking the media. They are actually checking the media and posting it on the website. Great, great website. I actually went on there day one and see the whole. They had the Trump transition on there. It was great. But we're saving money already. Lefties are bitching out now that we're not doing enough. The latest thing was what asked Vance why food prices haven't come down yet. That's a longer term thing. We know that's not something that's going to happen right with a snap of the finger that you can do. That comes from being able to get more fuel supply into the nation. That drops shipping costs down, which drives everything else down. We can actually deflate a little bit by becoming energy. Energy is what everybody needs in this nowadays, and that's what's going to happen. That will ultimately drive our prices down. A year from now, mark my words, everything will. Majority of our food products and stuff should be about half of what it is now. That might be pushing it a little bit too much, but they're going to come down quite a ways. So, but anyway, I think I'm going to wrap everything up. You guys want to help me out and give a like and love us, and God bless to everybody out there, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.